California.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise today to fight for kids, parents, and guardians and educators in San Diego and across the country. All parents and guardians want for their kids is for them to grow up safe, healthy, and happy, and have the tools needed to confidently and successfully go out into the world. So, obviously, they should be involved in their kids' education and shaping their minds and lives. But H.R. 5 is not the solution. I think we can all agree that educators can be some of the most influential people in our kids' lives. They have the power to inspire lifelong learning, they can help foster creativity and curiosity, and teach children new information and perspectives. But H.R. 5 fails to value educators. It fails to acknowledge or even address that teachers are overworked and underpaid, fueling the burnout that's created a nationwide teacher shortage that was exponentially worsened by the pandemic. H.R. 5 fails to address school safety. There have been 322 school shootings this year alone. Just yesterday, there was a shooting at a Denver high school. And by failing to act on gun violence in schools, we're allowing an entire generation to grow up with so much trauma. Trauma of school shooting drills, of growing up watching school shootings on the news, of wearing bulletproof backpacks to school, and knowing that one day it could save your life. And yet, H.R. 5 doesn't even attempt to proactively end the gun violence epidemic at schools. It only permits parents and guardians the right to a notification when violence at a school occurs. My colleagues glaze over the causes of real violence at our nation's schools, like proper investments in school-based mental health programs, social, emotional, and cultural competency professional development for educators and administrators, disciplinary measures that eradicate the cradle-to-prison pipeline, and more importantly, gun control measures to ensure that our youth are safe from school shootings. We need parents and guardians to be involved in the classroom, because too often it's all on teachers to make up for emotional support, learning, and care in the classroom that should also be provided at home. But H.R. 5 doesn't give all parents and guardians the tools for constructive involvement and unfairly empowers a very narrow set to dictate what all students learn about. It will open the door to book bans and censorship to control what students learn and read about, neglecting important parts of history like the civil rights movement and learning about people's identities. It would also mandate schools to out LGBTQ+ students to their parents, violating students' privacy and potentially exposing them to harm in the process. And while I'm thankful that the Rules Committee supported 2 of my amendments, it's shameful that they rejected my amendment to ensure that teaching about the Holocaust and anti-Semitism in schools should be taught with the acknowledgement that those actions were immoral. Amid skyrocketing anti-Semitic rhetoric, especially from some of my colleagues in this body, and growing violence targeting the Jewish community, Congress needs to use its power to end hatred and discrimination against Jews. And that work starts with our actions and ensuring that never again is a reality, by teaching about the Holocaust and the lingering hate that still exists today. And in the height of irony, this bill even includes a sense of Congress that all public elementary and secondary schools should have opportunities to learn the history of the Holocaust and anti-Semitism. But that means very little if we're unwilling to mandate how wrong and immoral those actions were. This bill is a disservice to our kids, parents, and guardians, teachers, and to our future, by not providing kids the tools to be engaged, thoughtful citizens, so we should take the opportunity to improve this bill. My amendment eliminates the at-no-cost unfunded mandate embedded within the bill that would require schools that are already underfunded and under-resourced to be burdened with printing out professional development and curriculum materials at zero cost. I agree that parents should have access to school curriculums, most of which are already published online. However, if my colleagues believe parents should have this right so strongly, then they should provide additional funding for school systems to be able to comply. We want all parents and guardians to be involved in the classroom. This is a simple, common-sense solution that removes a potentially costly barrier for school systems that are already struggling to maintain their budgets. I urge my colleagues to support my amendment to remove the no-cost provisions in H.R. 5 to bring all parents and guardians to the table for their kids' learning. Parents and guardians should be active participants in kids' education, but that doesn't mean we should lose sight of school safety, ending discrimination, supporting teachers, and ensuring a well-rounded curriculum that prepares kids for the futures. Thank you. I reserve the balance of my time.